Welcome back to Beyond Selling, the podcast where we go deeper than the deal and explore what it truly takes to build a lasting relationship, loyal customers, and thriving SaaS business. I'm your host, Adindra, and if you have been with us for a while, you know we love conversations that challenge conventional wisdom and bring real, hard earned insights to the table. Today's episode is one I've personally been looking forward to for a long time. We are diving into a topic that sits at the very heart of SaaS growth, yet so often gets overshadowed by the glamour of new logo acquisitions. We're talking about mastering support and success in SaaS, the art and science of making sure customers don't just buy from you, but stay with you and grow with you and ultimately become your loudest champions. And who better to unpack this than someone who has lived it and shaped it across 2 decades in the industry? My guest today is Anirban, a seasoned SaaS veteran with over 22 years of experience and a genuine thought leader in the world of customer onboarding and support. He has seen this industry evolve from ground up, from the early days of clunky ticketing system to today's AI augmented, deeply personalized customer journeys. Anirban brings a rare combination of strategic clarity and on the ground operational wisdom that very few people in the space can claim. Whether you're a founder trying to figure out your first support framework, a CS leader scaling a team, or a CEO wondering why churn keeps creeping up, this conversation is going to give you plenty to think about and act on. Anirban, a warm welcome to Beyond Selling. We're thrilled to have you over here.
Hey, hi, Ayanda. Thanks for having me here. I'm really excited about the session today. We've been talking about this for quite a few days, but yeah, finally get to be here and doing this. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, Anirban, to kick things off, tell us a bit about your journey. How did you find your way into customer success and onboarding leadership in the SaaS space?
Sure, definitely. I started my career on 22 years or 23 years ago, quite some time back. I started off my career with the tech support and the BPO industry, where I learned about the frontline customer experience. And over the time, I moved into the IT service and service desk management and project management and RPA, where I got exposure to, automation and how do you automate repetitive tasks or mundane tasks. All these learnings I could actually implement when I started off with CleverTap. And I was asked to actually set up the entire support team from scratch. It was a very exciting time. So we did that. And currently, I am working with a marketing automation company. And I have a team of 70 odd people who are supporting a business of 110 million approximately.
That's great. That's phenomenal. Now, Anirban, coming on to the second question for this podcast, when you talk about SaaS domain, right? So I've heard multiple terms in customer success or onboarding, for instance, a customer support, customer success, and onboarding, and are often thrown around interchangeably. How do you clearly define and separate these three functions in a modern SaaS company?
Sure. So this is a very interesting question because, blending these three things together is a classic trap that we fall into, right? If you look at it from a lens of a global customer lifecycle management, your support team is your foundational safety net. It is very reactive in nature. It is very technical in nature, depending on the product that is being supported. And the focus is primarily on making sure the issue is solved as soon as possible. Whereas the onboarding is the critical bridge of change management. It is finite per project. It is project managed, and the primary goal of an onboarding team is to get the customer to the first wow or the aha moment as soon as possible, or you call it the initial time to value. And the customer success, the third team that we're talking about, is more to do with the proactive way of managing customers, right? So they are more focused towards revenue retention, increasing the revenue, the renewals of the account, making sure that the strategy of the entire account is being managed properly. The customer's KPIs are met. That is what this team do. So basically, customers should not be dealing with troubleshooting of issues. Similarly, the support people should not be dealing with making sure that the KPIs of the customers are being met. Or for example, if the customer revenue retention or increase, that are different functions which should be handled differently. So, support is reactive in nature, onboarding is project management, and customer success is revenue and customer experience.
I think that really clarifies the confusion.
Thank you so much.
So, Anirban, scaling is the dream every SaaS founder chases, but growth has a funny way of exposing the cracks in your foundation, often in the most inconvenient moments. In your experience, when a SaaS company starts scaling, which of those three areas usually break first and why, be it customer support, customer success, or onboarding?
So yeah, without a doubt, Arendra, the first thing which breaks is support. And I tell you why. Because when a SaaS company starts to grow, what happens there? So the number of customers are increasing, the product is changing very fast, very frequent updates are happening. Now with this, what happens is your number of tickets which come in, they normally oversee or supersede the headcount which you have. Right? So the load on the support team certainly increases. And with that, what happens is your time to resolution increases because when I'm working on ticket number one and I have, let's say, 20 tickets in my queue, by the time I get to the 20th ticket, right, the time taken is huge. So what happens in as a as a result of this delay, the customer success team gets impacted. Why? Because when the customer success team goes and talks to customers about their QBR or MBR or any growth related things, they will say, let's first talk about the issues which are pending, right? And then we can talk about anything else. Similarly, it will also impact the onboarding people because during onboarding, the customer has a relationship which is being made between the onboarding team and the customer, right? So they would reach out to the onboarding team, say, hey, you know what? I need this solved. The support isn't responding. So it starts with support and then the other teams also get involved, right? So every team is impacted. Now, how do we solve this? We should solve this by automating the easier tasks so that your agents or support engineers don't have to spend time doing password resets or answering to things which are already documented on. So they would rather spend more time solving an API issue than solving a password or a how to question. So it is all about automation. While the SaaS companies are scaling, it is also important to automate first, wherein all those simple questions are replied to faster so that the support team is not overburdened. And hence, as a chain reaction, the success team has a peace of mind to, do their do their revenue discussion and onboarding can onboard new customers. Yeah. We have successfully brought down the time to resolution from 36 hours to 13 hours, which is approximately a 60% decrease in the total time to resolution just by implementing AI and automating it. We work on the AI model, make sure it is learning every single day, and that is how we're doing it. But yes, automation should be the first thing in your mind because the way SaaS companies scale, it is not possible to scale support teams, length and with the same pace. I think that's what I think it is.
I completely agree to that also that supporting is the one that gets hit the most whenever we talk about scaling because of the amount of tickets that are coming in, the amount of queries that are coming in. And I think more often than not, in product, a lot of things break also when you are trying to roll out to multiple customers and trying to scale it.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, in the SaaS, once the deal is signed, the champagne is popped on the sales floor. But for the customer, the journey is really just beginning. And how that baton gets passed can make or break everything that follows. From a CS leader perspective, what does a flawless handoff from the sales team to onboarding team actually look like?
So a flawless handover isn't just an automated CRM alert. It requires a lot of cross-functional executive alignment. It looks for a good handover to happen, the salesperson should actually be hand over the why, as in why does the customer need our product, right? Rather than what features. Because features they come and go, right? Features are always changing. The customers might buy something new after 6 months. But then why does the customer need us? Why do I need the car? I want to go from point A to point B. And that is what is important for the first handover. Now when the handover happens, there are different things which you have to define. Like firstly, I said why the customer needs our product. Then the success criteria or the success matrix and baselines. What will define success? What is the success criteria? Then that will also include your first initial go live, initial uh, time to value. So the first feature which the customer wants to go live, let's put that feature, prioritize the feature. Let's get that feature. That is what the customer wants. The second thing is the stakeholder mapping. Sometimes in the course of onboarding, you would notice that the customer might have some changes in priority. Sometimes due to some other priorities, the customers don't respond on time. So the entire mapping, as in, we have something called the RASI matrix, responsible, accountable, communicated, and informed. Those things have to be mapped and documented with the customers. If at all I need some help from the customers at a senior level, I have to know who to go to, and the person will respond. That is what is more important. So one is the why. Second is the success criteria. What needs to go first, what needs to go second, what needs to go third. The third one is the stakeholder mapping, wherein you know who to connect when. And the last and the most important thing is the expectation setting, right? We might want the customers to give us a respond in 2 minutes. The customer might want us to have something ready in the next five days time. Right? So it is important to set the expectation right. So whatever the customer wants from us, or whatever we want from the customer, should be always documented and signed off so that everyone is aware of the timeline and the whole thing changed. That's what a proper handoff.
And that's a great point and a good checklist for anyone who's listening to this podcast that you need to follow by.